guys, welcome back to 1776 or Bust. So today is kind of the finale of the Berettas. Now, I have shot them a few times. I have taken them to the range. I have some opinions of all three of them. Overall, there is no wrong choice here. So, of course, someone will probably ask if I had to pick one, which would it be? And I'll start off by saying to you that there is no real right choice, because when I tell you what I think is the better version of the three guns that I have here in front of me, it may not correspond with what you're doing and what you're feeling and what you're carrying and how you're shooting it. So just keep that in mind, that to me, the biggest deciding factor in any firearm is the person who's going to carry it and the person who's going to use it. There are some people who don't want micro carries, so they get full-size guns. There are some people who like polymer only, so they don't want anything that's made out of metal. So at the end of the day, you have to realize that whichever one works best for me may not work best for you, and you really have to go out, put the gun in your hand, maybe shoot it if you have an opportunity to, and then make your judgment call from there. Also, keep in mind, if you guys are interested in some awesome lock grips, which you're going to see a couple of pairs of them in this video, if you go to Lock Grips, make a purchase, and you put in 1776 at checkout, you'll get a 10% discount on your order. So if you don't mind, do that if you're going to buy them. Also, keep in mind, there is also a Patreon page, which you guys have the opportunity to join, and I'll put the link down below. Now, let's talk. So first off, the first gun I'm going to talk about is going to be really what my experiences were with this one right here. Now, for those of you who can recognize this gun, this here is the PX4 compact carry. By all stretch of the imagination of all three firearms, this technically on paper and just really dry firing it is the best of the three. It has the best trigger. It has the nicest, softest, and smoothest take-up you're going to feel. And the reset is just ridiculous, guys. There's that reset. Super short, very easy, and the trigger pull is just, it's really good. The problem that I'm finding with this gun for me is that I'm just not shooting it very well. Now, I have had a PX4 in the past. I shot that fairly well, but for some reason, I'm just not really able to make the connection with this gun that I have been able to do in the past. That seems to be a little bit of a mystery to me, and I'm not exactly sure why. I mean, could it be that the trigger is just so damn good that I suck shooting it? That possibly could be the problem, but I highly doubt it. But I am absolutely going to be taking this out again, and I'm going to shoot some more rounds through it because I am convinced that I can absolutely shoot this much better than I've been. And you can see that in the videos. Like this gun, just for whatever reason, doesn't shoot well for me. I'm not saying it's the gun just yet, but I'm hard-pressed to figure out what's going on with it. Now, of course, the next gun I would talk about is going to be the biggest of the three. And this here is going to be the 92x Centurion from Beretta. Now, if you guys are in the market and you're looking for a full-size or a larger-size Beretta, there's a lot of excellent choices out there. You have the 92x full-size, you have the M9A3s, the M9A4s, and, of course, the Centurion, which has a little bit of a shorter slide and barrel, but then does have that full-length grip. Now, here's why I think this one might actually be worth better money, or at least better value for the money, than, let's say, an M9A3 or an M9A4. To me, this gun that I have in my hand, this one reminds me a lot more of an M9A3 because of the fact that this gun really doesn't do anything wrong. A lot of the things that you're going to see on here, which I've done a video in the past, just kind of doing an overview of the gun, you got your front serrations, you've got nice checkering on the front and back of your grip. You have a pretty good, I won't say very good, but pretty good trigger out of the box. One of the things I noticed about this gun when I first brought it home was the reset on it was excellent. Now, this does have the actual regular trigger bar in it and no other pieces except for a spring. So the reset is very short. I mean, it's a very, very short reset out of the box. That's not something that I experienced with the 92X Compact, but we'll get to that in a minute. But I think overall, for the money, you can probably find these right now for maybe $600. You're getting the optic mount, which you guys can see right on the top there. Don't ask me how to get an optic plate from Beretta, because apparently they don't communicate to anyone, because I have yet to hear from them, and I've made several requests. But I think overall, for the package that comes with the 92X Centurion, could you do this instead of an A3? Yes. The A4 is a little bit different because it has the Extreme Series trigger group in there, so it's a little bit better of a trigger. But again, throw out some money, shell out some cash, and you might be able to improve this trigger fairly well enough that it probably could compete slightly against that M9A4. Overall, I think the Centurion is very good. Shooting experience was, in my opinion, pretty good. Again, it was the first time I had the gun to the range. Like any other gun, I'm not an expert when I go out. I'm not going to be shooting bullseyes, at the first time around. But I think for me, just the experience of being able to shoot this gun warrants another range review, or at least going out to the range and making sure that I'm shooting a little bit better than I did that day. The last of the three is going to be the 92x Centurion Compact. Or excuse me, what am I talking about? Centurion Compact. The last gun that I'm talking about is going to be the 92x Compact, and that's this one right here. So as you guys can see, it's a little bit smaller in the grip than the Centurion and M9A3 or full size, but it does have the same slide length of the Centurion. So you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. It's a little bit more concealable because of the shorter grip. Honestly, of the three guns, I am actually shooting this gun the best of all three. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Again, I do have a new trigger return spring in here. I also have the hammer spring, which I have in the Centurion, but I also have the LTT trigger bar, which I think makes a little bit more of a difference on the take-up and just the smoothness of the action. And again, it could just be me. You know, somebody made a comment in one of the videos that they didn't really see any marketable difference between the LTT trigger bar and the regular trigger bar. You know, that might be their experience, and I'm not going to downplay what their experience was, but I feel that me personally, when I put it on the 92X Compact, it did really lighten up some things. It made it a little bit smoother on the action, and I do really like the feel of this trigger much better with that LTT trigger bar than just with the standard or stock configuration. Now, overall, if I had to pick, which one would I pick at this particular juncture of my experiences with them? Honestly, guys, I'm probably going to go with the Centurion, and there's a reason why. I probably am not going to be carrying either one of this one or the Compact. It's a little bit heavier than I would want to normally carry on a daily basis. Now, does that rule out at all that I'll never carry either one of these? Absolutely not. I most certainly will. But as a daily carry, if I had to choose between this and the Compact, I'd want to go with the Centurion. It just has a bit of a longer grip. And I mean, the grip's length isn't so overwhelming that it's not going to be concealable. I just think you're getting a little bit more of that real estate, per se, in regards to putting your hands, making sure your hands got good grips on the firearm, and just controllability and all those other things that come along with it. Overall, it has been a very satisfactory gun. I have had no issues with any of the three on the table, with the exception of just not being able to shoot the PX4 Storm compact carry. But nonetheless, all three are excellent choices. My choice at this point would probably be the Centurion, because you do have a little bit more, I guess, modification that you can do with the optic ready version, with the fact that it's got a longer grip, and really there's just so many things you could do with it to change up that trigger pull, that to me it makes it a little bit more complete than, let's say, the Compact. Now, if you have a Compact, keep it. It's a great gun, especially if it has a rail, because you can't find them anywhere. But nonetheless, again, for me, any of them are good. I would probably go with the Centurion for now. That could change probably over to the Compact at any second. But right now, for me, the reason why I'm shying away from this PX4 compact carry is because I just can't shoot it very well, and I've got to get better at it. So leave some comments down below. Tell me what you would choose if you had to choose between the three. Maybe you have made that choice, or maybe you have experiences with all three and you've kept all three. But I'd like to hear from what you guys have to say down below. Leave the comments. Appreciate everything you guys are doing for the channel and supporting us here. And as always, everyone, I hope you have a great night. Stay safe, and freedom is never free.